All right, so today we're going to be talking about another viewer submitted prompt. This is from Mustafa Ayad. I wish the fans and players played a role in what gets put on the ban list and what archetypes get more support. Maybe by a vote. Okay, so I've got thoughts on this. I've got thoughts. Um, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Players have long since the dawn of this game, I imagine, been upset with Konami about one thing or another. How they run this game, how they balance cards, what they release, what they don't, rarities, rules, tournament policy, everything. People hate Konami for this, they hate Konami for that. Now, this question isn't, I don't think, exactly meant to be like a super negative thing, like Konami is just doing a terrible job. That's not really what this person seems to be saying, but rather the idea that, well, maybe the players should be able to take a more active role in deciding, what products get made or how the ban list goes about. We'll start by saying that I don't think this is really a great idea. I know that's probably not what a lot of people want to hear, but we'll break it down some. So we'll start with my thoughts on the whole players picking the ban list thing, because I think that's something that's probably been a thought or like a desire for much longer. So the ban list, it happens every few months. Cards get semi-limited and limited and banned and freed and all these things, and it feels like people are never really satisfied with the ban list. It's a big, thing to do like ban list predictions. Ban list season, what's going to get hit on the ban list? What's going to hit on the ban list? This should get hit. This deck is broken. This deck is annoying. And like ban this, limit this, nerf it to the ground. Bring back these cards. Bring back that card. Bring this back. This thing's been banned too long. And there's disagreements about like how heavily a deck should get hit. Oh, they should limit this card to 2. Well, no, I think they should limit it to 1. No, I think they should ban it. No, you guys are all crazy. It's not about that card. It's about this card. This is the real problem. See? It's this Red Eyes Fusion that needs to get banned. No, it's Vert that needs to get banned. No, it's Dragoon that needs to get banned. So, everybody has like these different opinions on stuff. And they argue quite a lot on the internet about it. You can find it in any comment section of any ban list talk. And oftentimes it gets very bitter. You're an idiot. You don't understand this game. Blah, 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 blah. You hear words like degenerate or unhealthy or, okay, never mind. I'm just ban list ranting at this point. The point is, players have a lot of views on the ban list. And whenever the ban list comes out, people are oftentimes not entirely satisfied with it. So my hot take is that I actually think Konami's done a pretty damn good job of balancing this game so far. A few things slip under the cracks every now and again, but they typically do get hit in a timely enough fashion. There have been some instances where it feels kind of like cards didn't get hit soon enough. And I totally get it, right? We, the players, are the ones who are kind of like competing in the game. We're going to the tournaments, we're playing at locals every week, or playing online every week. And so really you can feel the effects of like a broken card. You keep losing this deck and it's annoying. You keep losing this card and it's annoying. Or this thing's expensive and you can't afford it and it just feels unfair. But I would say that when balancing a game, and I've mentioned this in other videos before, you kind of have to be light-handed with it, because while it might seem to us players like these cards are just so busted and it should just obviously go, Konami, as kind of the arbiter of truth here and the business, they can't go like nerfing every single thing into the ground, every single ban list, just because it seems a little bit annoying. There have been plenty of cards that people have complained about that ended up never getting hit, and we've just sort of moved on from them. I remember a period of time where people really wanted Zeus banned. Now nobody really feels like it should be banned. It sometimes just takes time to sort of see that the card is not maybe as bad as you thought. I remember a period of time where people said Boral Sword Dragon should be like banned, ban this card, it's so unfair. Nowadays it doesn't really see a whole bunch of play. And there's just numerous examples of cards like this. Droll and Lockbird plus Trickstar Reincarnation, a pretty nutty little combo, but it never ended up actually getting hit on the ban list in any capacity. So what's that all mean? I think it just means that players can be a lot more impulsive and we kind of demand very drastic change and very quickly. So how would this translate to a voting scenario? Badly. I just think like players already don't really like know exactly what they want or what it is they need, and no one's really like any expert in game design around here. And I'm not saying I am either. Trust me, I don't know anything. I don't know the next best thing to hit. I don't know what needs to get. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I don't think that like players should really be the ones deciding it. I think that being able to submit input would be a nice thing to have. I think it would be really cool to kind of have a form that you can like submit like your thoughts. But even then, I know people would like spam that to hell and back. They'll just put jokes and memes and or just abuse it somehow. We'll get into that a little bit more with the next category of products. But yeah, but I just think like putting it to a vote seems not great because let's imagine. So there's two scenarios here that kind of don't work out. The first is that a card can get limited, semi-limited, banned, or like put to 3 or whatever. So a card can be at like 4 different places. And let's say that we're going to vote on what happens to, you know, what's a contingent card? Fusion Destiny. Let's say we're going to vote on what happens to Fusion Destiny. So you can vote for it to go to 0, you can vote for it to go to 1, 2, or 3, I guess. It could stay at 3 or stay at 2 or, you know, wherever it is at the current time of voting. Let's say that this card, 26% of people said it should go to 1. 23% of people said it should go to 0. 27% of people said it should go to banned, and then 24% of people said it should go to 3. Okay, so all these are like the results, right? Well, the one that won out was that it should be limited to 1 or something like that. So Konami limits it to 1 because most people voted for that. But that means that only 27% of people actually wanted that. So does that sort of make sense, right? Like it's this idea that if you have multiple options, if you have like 2 options, well, okay, the one that gets 51% wins over the one that gets 49%. That still means about half the people are just dissatisfied. And this would be even more extreme because it's like only a little over a quarter of people wanted this card to get like put to 1 or to be banned or whatever. And so by offering these options, it just seems a little bit disingenuous to like have that be the voting solution, or at least not like the end all. I mean, the vote could certainly be useful for just giving Konami a bit of a pulse for where people's heads are at with this stuff, but I don't think that it should actually be what like decides it. And also there's the whole idea that like cards can be hit in combinations. So like let's say we're trying to nerf a current top tier deck, and like some people want like this card could go to 1 and this could go to 2 and then this could be banned and now the deck is like balanced. But there's so many different combinations of banning and limiting and semi-limiting that you can do to nerf a deck that it feels like how would you sort of communicate what combination of things? Like maybe I think that Red Eyes Fusion should be banned and that should be it. But maybe you think that, you know, Vert should be banned and Red Eyes Fusion should also go to 1. Like you want them both to get hit. So that way these decks can't still abuse Red Eyes Fusion or whatever with like Subterra Guru control. I don't know. So like we can find ourselves in these scenarios where it's hard to really communicate a combination of hits to a certain deck or certain strategy. So I think voting for Banlists just all in all isn't really the move. I know Konami doesn't do a perfect job, but I just don't think the players would be doing a lot better. But I do think it'd be nice to be able to give our opinions on it. And obligatory mention of I think it'd be nice if Konami would give patch notes when ban lists come out so that if nothing else, people could at least be aware of where their heads are at with the cards that get limited and semi-limited. Duel Links has this. I hope the Master Rule gets this whenever it gets ban lists. But yeah. Okay, the next thing is products. With Yu-Gi-Oh products, players choosing them, we've actually seen a little bit of this in the past. So in Japan, there were popularity polls for voting for which archetype would get to have a structure deck. This is actually how we ended up getting the Sacred Beast structure deck. It's how we ended up getting, I believe, the Charmer structure deck and the Ice Barrier structure deck. These all came, I think even the Shaddoll structure deck. I think these all came as a result of like fan polls in Japan. Now, it would have been nice if these fan polls, I think you could vote for them in the United States, maybe, I don't remember. But yeah, it'd be nice if these were all kind of like worldwide polls and they're very publicized things so people would know that they could vote. But this has happened, and I think that this is a really good integration of it. Being able to like vote on your favorite archetype that maybe should get like a structure deck is good. A bit of a shame that some of those structure decks really have fallen flat. Like the Ice Barrier one, Charmer one didn't really end up being great. But, you know, that's kind of outside of maybe our control. Then there's things like the Create a Card poll. So this gets a little bit more contentious. I remember this happened in like 2020 and people did not like it very much. I mean, people liked the idea of it, the Create a Card thing. It felt like a cool announcement, but then there was like botting and a lot of resentment between just like different members of like a certain decks community. So I have a feeling that given all of the just sort of fiasco that went down with that, Konami is probably hesitant to try to do that again. Can't say that I blame them. and allowing the community to even vote on like whether it's a spell or a trap or a monster. It's okay. I mean, I don't know. I think like this is one of those things where players don't always really know what they want, and much like with what I was saying with the ban list, Inzectors won the create a card poll, right? But I think that when you look at the total amount of players in the game, most people just didn't want Inzectors to win. So like maybe Inzectors won, but that might have only represented like 10% of what people wanted, if that. So it's hard to do like these votes for things that feel so personal to people, like support cards for their favorite archetypes. I like the idea of like products though, you know, like the structure deck thing feels a little bit cool, especially if it was like decks that Konami was going to be making anyway and we're just choosing what comes first. That sounds fun, but I don't think anybody wants to ever feel like shafted, like their favorite archetype didn't get support as a result of, you know, like a poll, and so because that actually can start to split the community and cause more tension than good. So yeah, that's basically my take on all of it. I would say that while I like the idea of players being able to make their opinions known on issues, I don't think that we should ever really be the ones deciding on all of this because we just don't, you know, fully understand all the factors that go into it. And it's probably for the best that Konami just keeps it the way that it is. I know it's the boring, kind of like sensible answer, but I'd love to hear, you know, if you guys disagree, what do you think would maybe be the best way for Konami to hear the opinions of players? How often should this happen? What should be the means? Should it be just like, you know, polls, slider type of things? Like how much do you like a card from 1 to 10? Should this be banned or whatever? You know, how should Konami hear from it? How much should that factor into their decision making? I'd love to know. I don't really have the answers to that. So, yeah. And thank you, of course, for the question submission. I love hearing about it because these are fun things to talk about. There's just a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff going on, and everyone's got things that they just want like to talk about and discuss. So yeah, let me know in the comments. I'm going on for a bit, so I'll leave it at that. See you guys in the next video. Pass turn.